TWM Podcast.
Hello, I'm Matty Deller, and this is Best of the Rest, your Friday roundup for all the odds and ends in your wrestling week. It was meant to be Daniel McIver, and I did destroy him last week for forgetting his plans and not being able to do his debut episode of his own podcast. But unfortunately, more serious matters, McIver's had a family emergency, so he had to drop out late doors. So I've stepped in. Obviously, everyone at TWM hopes the McIver family are all well and wishes them nothing but the best. So you got me, I guess, talk about Total Divas again. So there's that. So I'm excited to be on Best of the Rest once more. Let me get through the stuff before I announce the co-host of this podcast, TWM Podcast, bringing you podcasts Monday to Saturday, covering all corners of the wrestling world on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Acast, TuneIn, Podbean, YouTube, and wherever else you get your pods. We are brought to you by SquaredCircleBox.com, your monthly dose of all things wrestling for just £25 a month. If you want 10% off your first order, you can use the code TWMNews in the checkout for 10% off your first order. You've only got, I think, about 11 days left if you want to get the Halloween October crate. So definitely go and check that out, SquaredCircleBox.com. Now, normally, there's usually a combination of like me, McIver, Joe, we had Shirley on, but it's been obviously sad with McIver. Joe had to drop out late doors, so I had to draft in two kind of last minute replacements, but I couldn't think of any two better, specifically for the two shows we are going to watch. It's my own personal pair of Total Divas. They are from the indie wrestling show. It is Victoria.
Hello.
And it is Kyle.
Hello.
Yeah, they are the Carmella and Sonya Deville of my life. This is what you all are.
Which is which? That's the question.
I wonder which one you are out of Carmella and
yeah.
Actually, no, you are a bit.
I don't know why I asked.
You are a bit of both because of course you are extra like Carmella is, and also, as anyone aware, you are a martial arts expert. So
I figured I was Carmella because I'm just full on fucking fabulous.
Yeah, but the weird part of that, like you say, martial arts expert, I like low key hidden depths have actually got like a black belt in martial arts, which is weird.
I thought you was going to say I low key have killed several men with martial arts. Yeah, we're going to have a big old gossip episode 2 of Total Divas. But before we go through that, we're going to talk about this week's episode of NXT UK. NXT UK was from Brentwood, Essex, even though the crowd did massively let themselves down on this episode. But we'll get into that in a little bit. Your main event was Piper Niven against Jazzy Gabert, where Piper Niven got the win over the giant German with the help of Rhea Ripley. But the key thing I kind of want to ask is, why isn't Jinny wrestling?
I wonder this as well. Is she injured?
It's what I thought. I was like, is she injured? Because I generally can't remember. Not even on NXT UK, of course. We are usually on the indie wrestling show as a triumvirate. I can't remember the last time I've seen her wrestle, full stop.
No, I was at the Cardiff tapings and she didn't do anything there either. So yeah, it was weird. And then I think the last time I saw her before that was at the Progress at Alexandra Palace.
Yeah.
For Strong Style, where she ended up leaving afterwards.
Yeah, no,
she wrestled at Attack at the Dome.
Oh yeah, she filled in for Tony, didn't she?
Yeah.
And she's wrestled at... Did she wrestle at Riptide before that? And that was the time she got injured, didn't she? She hurt her ankle.
No, I'm sure she was meant to be, again, like teaming with Jimmy, and then was like, oh no, I can't wrestle tonight.
Yeah, it's weird. I'm hoping there's not any, like, scary underlying issue why she's not wrestling. I'm hoping that. It's just a shame because they seem to be building this storyline around Jinny going for the NXT UK women's title, but not having her wrestling. They're kind of doing almost the Sami Zayn, Shinsuke Nakamura thing with Jinny and Jazzy Gabert.
It's one of those weird things where, like, she's like constantly in promos where, like, that title's mine. You can't really say it's yours when you're not doing anything, like, physically to attempt it.
Yeah, it's like, they're very weird with the NXT UK women's division because, like, they'll bring people in and be like, I want to go for the gold, like Tegan, and Tegan's there for 4 weeks and now she's off to NXT. Like, they seem to have a certain moving parts, and they're like, we'll just have one person be champion and not have a feud with anyone for a few weeks.
Yeah, but I don't think she was going to be there, like, for the long haul anyway, because I think they're just going to be like, oh, she's cleared again, we're in Cardiff, most of the Welsh fans would love her, let's just bring her in for a bit.
because Wales.
Yeah.
Also, Piper Niven. I think I spoke about this last week, about it just really seems that she's treading her wheels. They don't know what to do with Piper, which is a shame, because she just seems to be going through random mini feuds, when in reality...
floating.
Yeah, she's floating. In reality, she should be the person challenging Kaylee Ray, because if we're not using Tony, for wherever Tony Storm is, literally the best combination of wrestlers you have in that promotion right now, Victoria, female-wise, is Kaylee Ray against Piper Niven.
100%. Yes.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Mainly because, was it last year? It might have been last year. Had like one of the best British matches of the year. That, what's it, the Queen of Insanity match between...
Oh, the ICW.
The ICW one, yeah. Yeah, and they just seem to be going, right, we've got you. It's almost as if they signed her just the fact that no one else could have her. One of those deals. And, yeah, they're not really doing anything with her, which is weird.
But you say that, where else would she have been? Because there's no World of Sport, which she was doing. WWE, like, UK is the only major thing over here.
Honestly, she was in Stardom. She probably would have ended up with AEW. I wonder if they would have taken her over B, personally, if she was still there, because she was the big Stardom star, and then she left for NXT UK, and then...
But so was Tony.
This is true as well, yeah, but I don't know, it's a weird one. Also, we got Rhea Ripley on a farewell NXT UK tour, it seems. I think this is where she wraps up, if I'm not mistaken. I did enjoy Rhea Ripley appearing from out of nowhere and just booting Jazzy Gabbert square in the face, giving her the full Crime Time treatment, just boot to the face. Yeah, it was an okay show. It's weird because it was an opening week's taping. Like, normally the stuff where nothing happens, like the middle of the taping loop they have. This one was like the beginning, and not much happened.
But we still got some setup.
We got a little bit of setup. We did get a new commentator on NXT UK. Tom Phillips has been put on NXT UK. I'm okay. Like, I think him and Nigel work really, really well together, but honestly, I imagine if you're Tom Phillips, you must be gutted, because you've been passed over for the Raw job for a guy that's been there less time than you, and then you've been like moved, not just down to like, you're not even just like taken off SmackDown. You've not even been put on on 205 Live. You've not even put on NXT. You've been put onto NXT UK, which is a monthly deal.
Kind of combat that for a second.
Okay, go ahead. I'm just saying, I feel like it would be a bit gutted. I know it's an easier work schedule, but...
Yeah, but remember, the whole reason why Tom was back on the original NXT, from the original like NXT to SmackDown, originally was because they swapped him and Morrow around. Yeah,
this is true as well.
Yeah, and when I think of like the NXT broadcast team, a majority of the time I go back to thinking of Tom Phillips, Corey Graves. So I think he's a good fit.
I'm not saying he's not a good fit, but I imagine he must feel like he's been a little bit.
Oh yeah, like if he's been passed over.
Yeah, he's been passed over and then pushed down. Like, he's on the monthly taping, but he's still got like travel to and from the UK.
Yeah, but it's more of the like quote unquote like wrestling side of it rather than the entertainment side, where Vic kind of tends to work better.
Yeah, no, that's actually a really fair point. I'll give you that. I think he's more of a wrestling play-by-play man than a sports entertainment play-by-play man, and Vic Joseph is very, very good at it. He did all right on this, though, in all fairness. The Hunt beat Pretty Deadly, and Imperium took out the Hunt, and the key thing I took from this is that Marcel Barthel cannot say animals.
Oh, it was brilliant. It made me laugh.
I just thought it was the accent.
Animals. You are animals.
My main takeaway was Nigel McGuinness on commentary.
Oh yeah, you were texting me just saying you were loving Nigel on commentary, just talking about...
Nigel McGuinness basically like saying that Pretty Deadly share a flat and their grandparents take out the rubbish for them, like, made my night.
Thing is, though, he said that, they became one's from Newcastle, but he said their grandmother. So, like, first of all, he was implying that they were friends, and then he was saying they were related.
It was in different locations.
Yeah. I did not know that Sam was from Newcastle. I thought he was from Essex.
I didn't know Lewis
as well.
was from Essex.
Yeah, I knew Howley was from Essex, but I didn't know that Sam was from Newcastle.
Because you're a massive Essex pervert, Matthew.
Well, I'm from there, so therefore you're a massive Brighton pervert. So
Yeah.
Is that just a rule between the three of us? Because Vic stands Jordan Breaks, Matty stands anyone from Essex, and I stand anyone from Wales.
no, you stand anyone from Ireland. There's a different. Speaking of which,
Yeah, kind of true.
Jordan Devlin battered Jack Stars, and I'm going to apologise on behalf of Essex for this crowd, because one, you had someone dressed as Henry VIII in the front row for reasons.
So funny.
Why was he even there?
I don't know. Like, was he in between wives? Is that why he was watching the show?
Which one? Beheaded, divorced? Or...
Beheaded, divorced, survived. Beheaded, divorced, died. No, beheaded, divorced, died. Beheaded, divorced, survived. Yes, year 5 history didn't fail me.
Divorced, beheaded, died. Divorced, beheaded, survived.
Shit.
Heathen.
But yeah, I'm sorry that they did the "Are You Balor" in disguise to Jordan Devlin, because that's so 2017. We now appreciate how good Jordan Devlin is. He's not mini Finn Balor. If anything, he's Scotty Davis's dad, if you're into indie wrestling. So
I always say older brother.
he then called himself the greatest star in the company, and then Dave Mastiff interrupted and said, "Fight me, Menine, IRL," and Devlin bailed. Mastiff then battered Kenny Williams, which I imagine just was sucked for Kenny, because he also hurt his ankle as well. I was going to say that must really upset Victoria, but I can't remember if it's her or Kyle that's the massive Kenny Williams fan.
Oh, it's me.
Oh,
It's
okay.
me. Scotland and Ireland, for some reason, like my go-tos.
Celtic.
Anything Celtic.
Xia Brookside continuing her basically being the wrestling version of Zoella on NXT UK, by doing the "Hey, what's up, you guys?" Just keeping you updated with my apparent vlog that I do on a live camera.
You on about where she just like addressed genuinely it looks like she's about to just end any of those videos with "remember to click subscribe."
Yeah, literally. I don't know why they've turned her into the wrestling you. There was one clip from ages ago where they kept putting loads of like graphics over the top of it, but not like the shitty WM, like proper like YouTuber graphics. And I was like, are they generally be like, "You're young, you've got blue hair, we'll make you a YouTuber"? That's what the kids like.
All I know from this is I'm looking forward to Xia Brookside's Lush haul for Christmas.
I can't wait for when they sign. I'm trying to think of another young wrestler that NXT UK might sign in near future. They're going to sign some up and coming UK guy and make him a Twitch streamer. And just have
Curtis Chapman.
Yeah, there we go. Curtis Chapman's going to become a Twitch streamer on NXT UK. Book it. She got interrupted by Nina Samuels, and they plan to wrestle in the next few weeks. We also had someone called Alicia interview Noam, which generally made me laugh. It's a shame that he didn't go Alicia in the way, but obviously couldn't say Fox because it wasn't that person. And Noam and Trent, at least we got Noam Dar this week. That was our main complaint last week, is the show lacked Noam Dar, because Noam Dar's the best thing, one of the best things in wrestling at the moment. They have did you notice that Noam Dar's just drawn all over Trent Seven's towel?
Yeah. The fact that he's just Sharpied all over it.
He's such a dick. It's brilliant.
No, it was great.
And then I love the fact that Trent comes up to him. He's like, "I've told you to wind your neck in." And then Noam punches him and then tells Sid, "It's over now. It's done. Like, this feud is finished." I mean, you just punched him in the face.
The weird part of this is it's oddly perhaps one of the most British things ever. Like a guy from the Black Country telling a Scotsman to wind his neck in because he stole his towel. This is any holiday resort anyway.
I didn't think of that. Yes, well done, WWE. You have captured the British essence perfectly.
It's Butlins,
with this one promo from probably Gran Canaria.
Trent's jacket as well was fabulous. I loved it.
Both of them were lovely dressed.
Yeah, they were fantastically dressed. So we got Soto. That's the only difference there is with this and the actual thing, because these two are actually well dressed, whereas normally this argument ends up with like people in off-coloured shorts and bad tans. So
it's just NXT UK does Project Runway right now.
Make it work.
You're going to need to give me like 2 seconds to talk about how absolutely like a queen Jinny looked as well, because we did not touch on that earlier. Queen Jinny.
Yeah, but I would almost say, like, that goes without saying, if we ever mention Jinny,
she's a fashionista.
Just naturally assume that she looks brilliant at all times.
She does, but I felt the need to express it because truth.
Yeah, just like, but it's not as good as that time where you always go on about where she had 3 costume changes in one night.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
We've not reached that apex yet in NXT UK. That means there's still
Not
time.
yet.
That's the story they're trying to tell. We're eventually going to get the 3 outfit changes in one night. This podcast, and indeed all TWM podcasts, are brought to you by SquaredCircleBox.com, the only place for your monthly wrestling box needs. With things from superstars from WWE, AEW, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, British Wrestling, Independent Wrestling, and loads more. It is the only place that matters if you want to get the best wrestling swag for a low, low price. That low, low price is just £25, people. What a bargain! And you can get snapbacks, t-shirts, magazines, DVDs, trinkets, whatchamacallit, doodads, you name it, they have it each and every month. And just because you listen to TWM, you sexy, sexy people, you get 10% off your first order. All you got to do is use the code TWM News in the checkout. Just use the code TWM News in the checkout for 10% off your first order at SquaredCircleBox.com.
Why not spread? I said, why not spread the gospel of the TWM squad with some of our lovely merch over at Teespring? We have t-shirts for all shapes and sizes, hoodies, sweatshirts, mugs, stickers, and loads more. Also, just for listening to this podcast, you can get 10% off your order. I said using the code podcast. That's podcast. Once again, podcast in the checkout for 10% off at teespring.com/stores/TWM-wrestling-merch. That's right. Praise. Testify.
Time for the main course of Best of the Rest. That's right. Episode 2 of Total Divas. Oh God, I love this show. I genuinely thought it'd take me a while, but this show is brilliant. I am looking.
It before.
No, as I said last week on Best of the Rest, I binge watched the first season by accident.
By accident, sure.
No, I was ill over Christmas and I had the network on and was too sick to get up. And WWE were just doing a whole...
Well, like a marathon
of the first season of Total Divas, and I ended up watching the entire thing just because I didn't want to get out of bed.
To be fair, though, the first season is a great season. That sounds really cliche now, but the first season is a great season to start because
Summer Rae and stuff, isn't it?
No, Summer Rae's season 2, season 3. But you get the whole Funkadactyl fight in season 1.
Maybe I saw season 2 then. Maybe it wasn't the first season because the season I watched was with Natalya and Summer Rae.
Oh, it's probably season 2 then.
Season 2 then. I saw all of season 2. But this season is superb and we're already 2 episodes in. We open with Rhonda and Travis driving on the road and they weirdly sing. Travis does look incredibly uncomfortable, but I do maintain the point that Rhonda and Travis are that couple that are adorable for the first day you meet them, but after that you just want them to get in the sea.
No, I loved watching it. I want more of that.
Oh, it's just, they are so just... When they're doing the songs, I'm like, Rousey, this is really cringe.
But I like seeing that side of Ronda Rousey because we're used to seeing the hard-edged UFC fighter turned wrestler. It's nice to see that side of her.
No, I like seeing the bit with the stepmom bit last week was really sweet. The stuff we see later on is really sweet. It's the singing bit that just really was like, no.
But even that made her seem human.
It did.
Because wrestlers are people too.
Also, who's becoming the face of this entire thing, Sonya Deville, her and Ariana are fucking adorable.
Yes.
They are.
But she said they were on a break. Up until, obviously, the thing happened where they got back together. There was no sign of the fact they were on a break. There was no break there.
You have to remember, though. You have to remember they kind of advanced for weeks very, very quickly because one day it was like Valentine's Day and then it was like, oh, look, it's Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, it was one of those things. I think they kind of went... Because last week they went, we kind of mutually broke up. So it was almost an unwanted breakup, they said in episode 1. And then in this one, they're talking about they've been texting a lot. So I imagine that's texting and flirting and other stuff. So they've pretty much got back together at this point. But yeah, no, she basically goes to her girlfriend's house, they kiss, they cuddle, they get presents. Kyle also mentioned the thing that made him laugh the most, and I completely didn't clock, saying that Ariana's ex-girlfriend turned up to try and basically get her on the rebound, and Ariana told them to do one. And
it was Sonya who said like about her girlfriends turning up, and she was like, "Oh, what? Thank you, next." And I found that completely hilariously ironic because her girlfriend's name is Ariana.
It's really funny. They go to a restaurant and they're back together now. So they were on a break, but they're now back together. Natalia,
Valentine's Day magic.
Valentine, blah, blah, blah. Natalia is what I was going to say. Natalia is preparing a party for her mom's birthday, with her dad's being 4 days away, so they celebrate together. She's sad. This is like a really hard thing to like. It's very hard to watch because it's clear that Natalia needs help with grieving, and we said this in the first one. It's like, I feel like this is going to get a really hard to watch in the next few like weeks and months, and she's got a support system around her, clearly, as you can see. As much as this scripted reality, this is still based in truth, and you can even see it on like the candid moments where she's just walking around. You can see that she's massively putting a face on.
She looks lost, like genuinely. She looks like she's lost a part of herself and doesn't know how to carry on without her father. Yeah,
and hopefully, by the end of this, the arc is that she comes out of it. So they have the party, and Nia turns up, and everyone, especially Carmella, is not happy that Nia's just randomly turned up. I'm going to start this now. This is the Nia as a cunt count, because Nia is a prick throughout this entire episode for literally no reason.
I'm going to need to get you a Scott Steiner's wage after this, aren't I?
Yeah. Based off the fact last week that the end of the show had her dobbing in Carmella for something she didn't say, where Carmella said, basically Nia said, "You're a pussy." She went, "I'm not a pussy. Do you not remember the black eye that Nikki Bella gave me and I didn't complain about?" And then Nia immediately goes over to the Bellas and goes, "Carmella said that you were unsafe and you gave her a black eye." No, she didn't. You twat. Carmella tries to be the bigger person and go over to her and say, like, "Hey, I'm going to be nice because it's Natty's birthday." And then she goes over and hugs her, and Nia just like, "Oh, that was weird. Why did you do that for? Why would you do that?" And I was like, "You're such a knob."
No, she said it was like fake as well. So when I was watching,
it's called being fucking polite. That's what pisses me off.
She's been the bigger person.
Yeah, it's so
ironically.
I see what you did there. Carmella tells Sonya she's in love, but won't tell her who, which basically then turns Sonya. I really wish there was a longer segment of Sonya just guessing random people.
No, it was like Guess Who with Sonya Deville and Carmella, but the best part is like just Sonya's like, "Oh, I know him. Yeah. Can I guess? No."
No, I love that because they let her guess one. I was hoping we'd have like 3 minutes of her just going through every single male member of the roster. Is it?
Well, the budget's gone up. We could have had a board.
Is it Funaki?
What she needed to do, if she wanted it solved quickly, was just get Colin Reaney on the case.
The person you're dating is Rebecca Vardy. Then Daniel Lloyd gets involved, and then she gets absolutely destroyed on Twitter. Don't go on Twitter and look up Daniel Lloyd if you don't want to see a horrific photo. I'll tell you off pod if you're not aware.
We also probably couldn't fit in like that many guesses because if you remember, it's only a 45-minute episode.
They should have done like a YouTube exclusive of just Sonya going through the entire roster. I think she doesn't bring it up yet. We get Natalia getting very emotional that her dad isn't here, which is very understandable. It's a very nice moment because she's being very strong for her mum as well. And then, Nia is again a huge cunt for no reason. I can't remember what it was for, but she was a huge cunt.
Natty picked an idea for Elimination Chamber, and they didn't like it, and Nia was like, "Well, I'm not being funny. You don't need to fucking be involved in every single history-making thing, do you?" And Natalia was like, "Well, I like being part of stuff." She's like, "Yeah, you don't need to be though.
No.
How about let some of us have a go?" And I was like, "Holy shit!"
I kind of disagree. I disagree. Sorry about that. It's the fact that like Natty was so adamant about it. When Nia says you don't have to be part of everything, Natalia literally says the words "I do," and that's when I kind of lost all of it. I was like, "No, you don't give other people their moment. You've been there longer than anyone. You should know this." Yeah,
but also Nia seems to have this thing that I've noticed that being the person being I'm blunt is a personality trait. No, it means that you are a dick. Like, you can be upfront with people, but the fact he was like, yeah, no, I tell it like it is. It's like, tell it like it is something that people use when they don't actually have a personality, and they just...
Me.
No, you have a personality. You're upfront. You're not blunt. Blunt is for people that have no discerning personality skills and just go, yeah, I'm just going to tell you how I really feel because I haven't got the emotional capabilities to analyse the situation. You know when to be a dick. Nia Jax doesn't. She's just a dick 24/7, and no wonder no one likes her. We then get Carmella Tenzon, which I love. I love this is, like, if you notice this, all the stuff with Nia as well, how many people say that Carmella's their best friend in WWE? Naomi, Bayley, Sonya Deville. Like, surely she's like, even if this is scripted, Victoria, surely like that must show that Carmella's not a bad person.
Correct.
Yeah, this made me love Carmella all the more because I think we said this last week. It's like, Carmella's legitimately my favourite female wrestler in the WWE still.
She feels like everyone's little sister.
Yeah, and I think what helps is, and this hammered at home, is that not only is she a really good character, she just comes across as a genuine, nice person.
Because wrestlers are people too, which I've already said, but I'll say it again.
And then she, tells Sonya that it's Corey who she's with. And she explains it really, really, really well with this. And kind of explains it as like, yep, no, I know, I don't want to upset anyone. I don't want to make it seem like it's bad, but he's moved out. He's got his own place. It's like, he's still like married, but he's in the process of getting divorced. Like,
which I think was mega necessary because, as we'll probably get onto, we only had all of the articles of Corey's, I think, like, now ex-wife, Amy Polinsky, like, to go off of.
Yeah, and I remember we'll get onto this in a bit, because I remember us talking about all of this, and I think my tweet was, about this straight away, was if this is true, Corey's a dick, and Carmella's just a bit dim for going out with someone that's married. Where most people were just like, "Oh, you home wrecker, Carmella." I'm like, no, fucking, it's if there is blame, it's both of them. But she even
addresses the double standards, like in the episode as well. She's like, "Oh, everyone looks at him like, Corey's like sleeping with Carmella, and everyone looks at her as like she's a home wrecker and a whore." Yeah, it's bollocks. Like, and I remember seeing that, being like, all these people sending death threats to fucking Carmella, which they get into a little bit later on. And it was bollocks because you wait for the real story. It turns out that the wife was just pissed that Corey's now found another woman while they're in a process of divorce. So it's very Rebecca Vardy.
It's very Daniel Lloyd. Well, I've mentioned this earlier. They did rule out Vic Joseph in a very big way, which is hard. Like, God, no. Never Vic Joseph.
I think one of my favourite parts about, I'm not sure if you noticed, Matty, when they kind of showed on the camera the photo of Vic Joseph, it was the exact same photo when they zoomed out to show it was Corey.
Yeah, I love that they used the old 205 Live photo, which is really, really good. And also, it was really good how they used heel Corey talking up Carmella when she was a... like, they found one clip where he's putting over Carmella massively, which did make me remember the Elimination Chamber, which obviously was the night of all that shit going down, where Corey was really aggressively putting down Carmella the entire match. And was like, ooh, someone's protesting too much on commentary.
Which is weird now looking at it, because they obviously had that massive fight, like, backstage. But the vast majority of that is just her going on to him, like, just telling her everything that is already up in the air about her, and he's just like, I had nothing to do with it. I didn't, like, tell her to post that. She just did that on her own accord.
Sonya gets a float for Pride. That's objectively really, really cool. I remember seeing the photos for all of this, and it was really, really sick. I am, however, quite shocked, Victoria, that this Pride parade for WWE superstars, like, you can have a pride, you can have your own float. You've got to decorate it yourself, though.
Yeah.
I'm like, they are legitimately, like, reality TV stars. You're telling them to decorate their own fucking float.
Well, there was me going to you about, like, E's budget for Total Divas had gone up, like, for the graphics and stuff. Clearly had nothing left to spend on the fucking float.
I imagine the second that camera cut, they got, like, 3 interns who'd, like, decorate the float, please.
Oh, probably.
The elimination, they talk about the Elimination Chamber for the women's tag titles. Natalia's upset that she hasn't got a partner. and she misses Ronda, who's obviously off doing her own thing, and they talk about the Heart Foundation and so on and so forth. We then cut to Ronda Rousey on her farm, E-I-E-I-O.
No.
What is, yes, is you've got Marina Shafir and little baby...
Troy.
Is it Troy? Right, I didn't know the name of Troy. Losing his shit to the Matt Hardy theme, which popped me massively.
Future 24/7 match. King Maxwell versus Troy Shafir.
I cannot wait for... Well, it depends though. What do you think? Is he gonna inherit the backbreakers, or is he gonna inherit the MMA style? Which one will Troy inherit? We don't know.
Why not both?
Natalia phones Ronda and gets emotional because she's saying she wants to be on Mania and talking about her dad and stuff. And then, right, we said this last week. We said this about Ronda Rousey. We said before that a lot of us like the wrestler Ronda Rousey. She's a brilliant wrestler. I really, really enjoy watching her, and she's a really good character on WWE. Outside of WWE, Ronda Rousey is a bit of a shitty person. But this show is really making us see her, like, a side of her that makes her seem quite empathetic. Like, last week talking about how she loves being a stepmom. And this week talking about how her father killed herself when he was 8 due to, like, having basically being a paraplegic. And
I think a lot of people kind of lost the love for her because she was pushed down, like, throats.
It was more of the Sandy Hook truther and the was it the transgender stuff? The TERF stuff? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, when she literally just came out and did that, like, whole rant on social media.
Yeah. So it's all that stuff which makes her a bit of a garbage person, But
then you see things like this, and it's kind of a character redemption.
I know, it's one of those things, and I'm going to kind of throw to Vic on this. It's one of those things, because obviously, Vic, this is like scripted reality TV. And it's not... I'm really in the middle, because it does make me feel empathetic towards Ronda, but at the same time, it's kind of like... Is this WWE narrative trying to make people like Ronda the person as well as the wrestler, and trying to sweep all that stuff under the rug?
I mean, like, you only see of people, like, what this show and social media shows you of them. So, I remember reading something. So, like, I know the story's obviously true. They wouldn't just be like, oh my god, wouldn't it be really funny if we try and get people to like you by you saying this on TV? But I think she does come across on this as more of an actual human, as Kyle has already said twice, because wrestlers are people too.
They are.
Sometimes they just say shitty things.
Yes, this is true.
We live in a world as well where a lot of wrestling is mainly followed through their social media. Like, everyone's got a Twitter account now, so no matter what you say, people can have an opinion on it. People can screen grab it even if you try and delete it, and then it's like, oh no, but you said this, I've got the proof. It turns into a witch hunt, but you just have to remember, everyone's a human, and we all make mistakes, we all fuck up. You wouldn't want someone to do it to you, so give them the time, let the situation breathe, and then deal with it in the future.
Nia Jax, while we're backstage, calls Carmella a homewrecker with no prior evidence of anything that's going on. Huge cunt.
Except for Charlie Caruso.
Yeah, Charlie Caruso is basically the Gossip Girl XOXO of Total Divas.
She's the me in the group chat.
Just constantly just going around, basically telling people everything. Mella and Corey have a conversation where... I do love this, because Corey is full on acting for the Total Divas camera, but I can imagine they'd have the exact same argument off camera, where, like, Graves is like, I don't know, what do you want? Like, Mella's proper having a breakdown about this, which she has every right to do so, but Corey's like, what do you want me to do? There's literally nothing I can do in this situation.
There's no resolving it either, literally. Yeah. He's just like, I can't do anything, and she just walks off to phone her sister.
What she could have, in all fairness, what Corey could have done is probably put a tweet out and been like, that's not the case. But then again, he would be called a liar as well, so they would fucked either way. So
I think Carmella addressed that. Like,
like,
because
we can't even defend ourselves. Like, so she said they couldn't tweet or say anything on social media.
But that's kind of...
We can't defend ourselves.
That's kind of like bollocks to me, though, because we've seen, like, many people do it, like, in WWE, but it just feels like they wanted this for the storyline drama, because that way she could get her side across clearly with no interference from any parties besides herself.
Hashtag scripted reality. Sonya injures her arm during a Tower of Doom spot in the Elimination Chamber. It's revealed that she twatted her shoulder, couldn't do anything physical. Then we cut to the Pride Parade, which is a bit of a weird ending to episode 2, because it's like they just went, "Oh, Sonya's not been cleared." She phones Mandy. Mandy seemed quite annoyed for reasons I'm not sure why.
Can I address this for a second?
Yeah.
I think I would remember watching it. I was just going to be like, maybe they'd had something planned for them at Mania, possibly in the 4-way tag match.
Maybe they were meant to win it.
Yeah, but then looking at it, it was around that point where Sonya was still involved in backstage segments, but Mandy had that feud with Naomi because she was flirting with Jimmy Uso.
That is true, actually.
And then I think the last time after that we saw Sonya do something physical, because she gave her spot in Money in the Bank to Mandy and then carried her up the ladder. So that was what I can recall the last time we saw her doing something physical.
Yeah.
So it was probably a lot more long-lasting than we thought.
Yes, then they get to the float and Sonya reveals that she knows, or Carmella reveals to Sonya that she knows Naira's talked shit to Nikki Bella for her being unsafe in the ring, and apparently she's talked it out with Nikki. I can't wait. This is either going to end with them two becoming friends, or it's going to end with Mella fucking twatting Nia at some point.
The only criticism I have for that is, how did Carmella find out? Is Charlie Caruso gossip girling again? I
imagine XOXO Charles, Gossip Charles strikes again. Sonya wants to build the float. I wrote down Nia Jax is an awful cunt again, but I can't remember what it was for.
Probably because of that.
Yeah, Sonya wants to build the float for the Pride Parade, but she can't help due to injury, so Ariana tells her to go lie down, and they're going to build the float for her, and that is the end of this episode of Total Divas. This was a really weird ending to this one, because it seemed like it... When it finished, I was like, oh... I felt like there should be another 10 minutes of this.
Yeah, I felt like it was meant to be more.
Yeah, it kind of just ended, but still fun. Really, really fun. And
I just want to see what Sonya's float looks like, because she wants to make it like a wrestling ring.
Yeah, I've been spoiled though because of Sonya on social media, but I'm looking forward to... It seems like there's a massive argument between Mella and Nia at Pride, so I'm looking forward to that as well.
Yeah, but also, I want to mention one thing, which I forgot to. Sonya's little sit-down camera cut thing where she speaks to the camera about Pride, and where she says just live your truth. I think that can speak to anyone.
Yes, definitely. She is an amazing spokesperson for that whole community, which is awesome. I'd use the term role model. She's a brilliant role model, and she's coming across very, very well in this. Like I said, her and Carmella are becoming the kind of the two big faces of Total Divas. Considering last year, I'm pretty sure Nia was the sleeper hit, as the sassy friend in Total Divas, and now this year they've switched her, and she's now just a dick. And then
everyone's a great addition to this series.
Can I ask anyone else what their C-word count was for Nia Jax throughout the episode? What was yours, Victoria?
I think in total it was 3.
Kyle?
I think I only said 1, only because it was the whole just calling Carmella a homewrecker with no evidence.
Okay, there we go.
Also, I want to say everyone needs a friend like Naomi, when she's chatting with Natalya about how to move on with her grief.
Oh, that was lovely. That was a really nice little speech from Trin to Natalya. Everyone needs everyone needs a
Naomi.
Everyone needs a fluorescent friend like Naomi. And on that note, that wraps up this week's Best of the Best. If you want to get in touch, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, at TWM Wrestle. Subscribe to us on Apple and Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, TuneIn, Acast, Podbean, YouTube, all that good stuff. Our podcasts are going up every day, a few hours after the audio feed goes up. It goes up on YouTube, so check that out as and when you can. TWM.news, you've got loads of stuff. You've got progress previews, AEW stuff, WWE stuff, retro stuff, all that good stuff. Going to be in your inboxes very, very soon, to make sure you check that out. Kyle, social media.
Follow Rebecca Vardy.
Really hope Victoria picks makes the right choice for this one. Victoria?
I don't know what the other ones are, so I was just going to be boring and say mine.
I would just say follow.
Oh.
I'll say the one then. Just do your one. That's fine.
Okay. Follow me for really boring tweets at Victoria070591.
I think you need to call out. You should call out Rebecca Vardy.
Me?
Yeah.
For what?
Don't know. Just,
DM sliding.
Yeah. call her out. Call her out for something. Just find. I know you can call her out for.
Block all of your posts apart from Rebecca Vardy.
Yeah. Call her out for making Spike Trevay Brighton champion. Say it.
Who's booking Riptide? It's
Rebecca Vardy.
Wow.
You could follow me at Daniel Lloyd, or I'm Matty ID on my alt account. We are at TWM Wrestle. This has been Best of the Rest. You can join me and someone, I'm not sure who, because Joe's away, for Smack Talk on Saturday. But we'll see you and hear from you next Friday. Next Friday.